My cryonic technician described what had happened. A myocardial infarction began midway through Act 1 of Arthur Miller's A View from the Bridge at the Phoenix Playhouse. You were pronounced dead upon arrival. The stainless steel bracelet on your left wrist was inscribed with Cryonic Alert, which in turn triggered your immediate transfer to the Al Cryo Life Extension Foundation. Your head was severed. Your naked body was stored with hundreds of others from the many decades that comprised your cryopreservation. My cryonic tech didn't call it a deep freeze. She called it Big Sleep. I don't remember waking up. And then there were tests. For nearly 2 months, my technician was the only other thing I was aware of. While staring out the window from my bed one day, I saw something moving against the sky, and I spoke. Bird. Bird. Baby's first word. Patient crossed milestone 149, she whispered into her headset. After that day, there were more people, technicians mostly. For patients re-entering alone, we encourage them to return to where they last lived, to be surrounded by elements they hope will feel familiar and foster memory recall. And what exactly do I remember? I was an orphan. My headset provided me with instructional video and directional guidance. They made it feel like these were my choices. Upon returning to Seattle, the headset led me to a neighborhood where I once owned a business. My former architecture office in the Washington Shoe Factory building had new additive layers. The entire south facade was moving. I paused to stare up at a series of conveyance systems that comprised a vertical farm. During the decades that I slept, the rooftops of Seattle had changed. They were now a vast pastoral landscape. Welcome to the fifth facade. This is where you will live and work. Rolling green hills, public parks and swimming pools, pastures with livestock and vegetable farms were joined by enormous water collectors, solar arrays, and wind energy turbines. Bridges, like connective tendons, unified the separate buildings into a continuous landscape. I could wander anywhere, and I did. My very first tasks involved harvesting food. Work is love made visible. Sometimes I noticed the absences. Night, for instance, no longer came. It startled me when I realized the absence of children. School? I asked. No instructions. Children? Nothing. It's not as if there was no recreation. A huge ovation rose when Ted Williams, the kid, came up to bat. The greatest hitter who ever lived. The only player inducted into the Hall of Fame 3 times. Now I realize that the kid was inducted 3 times. 3 lifetime achievements. Death wasn't obsolete, just temporary. The kid ran the bases with the speed of a 20-year-old, which is likely what it was. Old heads on young shoulders, farmed like everything else. Could I live forever? The decision to return when it's your choice is an act of liberation and extension. I loved my life, and the desire for more of it felt obvious at the time. But to return repeatedly as a decision made by others, all the farmers, a workforce destined to return in perpetuity. It took several months to decide. I completed a 12-hour shift and folded my work coat. I walked across several rooftops as my headset, sensing my intention, tried to dissuade me. My last memory was the free fall.